Welcome to Zero to Gold Cap. This is a challenge where I'm going to go from 0 gold all the way up to a gold cap, which if you did not know, a gold cap is 10 million gold. So we have a very big journey ahead of us. We'll be exploring and checking out many different methods of making gold. Our main goal is to reach a gold cap in liquid gold. So 10 million liquid gold in our bags that we can spend. Follow along and let's make some goddamn gold. Let's go. The setup I'm going to be using for this challenge is just one account and I have multiple characters. The first druid has inscription and tailoring for cloth farms. Second druid has skinning for the different skinning farms. We have a third druid with mining and herbalism. This is going to be for gathering. We also have a monk. There's a few farms that you want to have a monk for like the monk statue. There's not many though. Then we have 4 different crafters. We have leatherworking and tailoring on this rogue. We have blacksmith and engineering on this paladin. We have alchemy and jewel crafting on the evoker, and also enchanting and inscription on the priest. We also have 2 other characters, which is a demon hunter for boosting, but I won't do any boosting in this challenge. I don't think so. Then the rest of the slots on the account is all bank characters. These are all level 10. They're all set up in Orgrimmar at a location where you can actually use your longbow mount and a bank at the exact same location, so you never actually have to move. And these characters are going to be for flipping. That's why they're mainly Volperum, because they get extra 8 slots for bag slots. This is huge when you're doing flipping. So all of these characters are set up, they're at the location ready to go. Here are all the different realms that my characters are set up on. I have removed absolutely everything of all the characters on this account. The banks are empty. The warband bank completely empty. Every single bag completely empty. So we're starting off from complete zero, and we can track the total liquid gold right here on the top of the screen at all time. We're going to be using a bunch of different add-ons to also track all of the different gold that we make, what we spend gold on, if we make profit from flipping. So there's a bunch of different add-ons. We have Journalator, Gold Stock Summary. We also have the Ledger with TSM. This is great for tracking our revenue and also actually our profit when it comes to flipping. So when we're buying and reselling items for a profit, we'll be able to keep track all of that with TSM. Also, we're going to be starting this on the 17th of October. So that is the date that we've started this. So it will be actually interesting to see how long it takes us to reach 10 million gold. Also, there were our add-ons that we're going to be using if you want to go back and check those out. So we fully reset TSM. I deleted it, fully did a new reinstall. So we have to set up all of our groups and all the settings once again. So very important, we turn on enable region wide. This will allow us to track across multiple different realms. We're going to import my TSM import string for my flipping guides. This has all of my groups for flipping and also the operations for flipping. Basically how the operations work is it will only allow me to post items at a profitable price no matter what. So it's very beginner safe, beginner friendly. So now that we've got this all set up, the operations are ready to go. We have this profile set up on TSM for flipping, but we do need to put in the settings. So we'll start off with the tooltip settings. You can go ahead and you can follow the ones that I'm using right here if you are following along and going to be doing the same. Also like to turn the gold tracker up on the top. Also turn on the sounds whenever we get a sale. Let's go ahead. We'll have to log into all of the bank alts and actually click on this profile, but we will make another profile right now. And this is going to be for farming. So whenever we farm an item, this is a simple profile to sell farmed items. We also want to go into our crafters, and we also want to set up a profile for our crafting operations. We can go ahead, we can import these also. So we have my crafting operations right there. I also have my second crafting operation that I like to use. So we'll make a second profile. We'll just call it crafting 2. And this can be for my other groups or crafting professions. Let's go ahead and import that. Now that's set up with all the different groups, and it also has operations set up ready to go. Now that the setup is done, it is time to start making some gold. Now the prices of a lot of the current content materials have gone down a lot. So we need to figure out what is the best farm, solo farm that we can do for materials and items that are going to sell very quickly on the auction house, because the early stage goal is to start flipping right away. So start buying items for cheap and reselling them for a higher price so we can have our liquid gold working for us. Now, what we want to do is find a nice steady gold farm that is reliable, that has very quick turnover, so very quick selling items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do about 10 minutes of all the farms, the current content farms that have items that sell pretty much instantly on the auction house. We're going to test those and we're going to figure out which is the best one to be doing at the moment. So we're going to be starting off with the Darkflame cleft follower dungeon. So this is basically a cloth farm. So you want to have tailoring and you also want to have inscription. Tailoring will allow you to get the cloth from killing these mobs, and inscription will allow you to get the Dark Moon cards. And basically what we're doing is we're just doing the Darkflame cleft follower dungeon, killing all of the mobs in the very first room, and then we're simply rinse and repeat that process where you basically restart the dungeon, and you can do that 50 times per round per day. So you can do it a bunch. So we did it for 10 minutes testing, and we're getting about 14,500 gold per hour from this farm. So about 15,000 gold, which it used to be actually 60,000 gold not that long ago. So that's our first option right there, 15,000 gold. We have our first sale. It's not big, it's only 65 gold, but it's definitely a start to the journey. If you would like to level up your gold making and make a bunch of gold in World of Warcraft, then I recommend checking out Goldcapped. Goldcapped is a community project where all of the best gold makers make gold guides for you, teaching you all of the latest and best methods of making gold in all versions of World of Warcraft. On the website, we have live price data, so you know if an item is worth farming or is not. We have a bunch of different guides on Goldcapped, anything from gold making guides to flipping guides for all versions of World of Warcraft. We also have a team of the best gold makers that are there to help you out with any questions that you have about making gold in any versions of World of Warcraft. So make sure you go ahead and join the Discord. If you want to become a member, we have two options for the subscription, which is $10 per month or $100 per year. If you go with the yearly option, you save an extra 15%. And on top of that, if you use code Buffy10, you also save an extra 10%. Let's get back to the video. So we have about 2,000 gold just from those 10 minutes of testing posted up on the auction house. We're going to move over to a different farm. We're going to test out jewel gathering in the new zone. So this is the route that we're going to be taking to do this. We're going to be using Farm HUD. This basically allows you to see your map in the middle of your screen. This is super useful for gathering. I highly recommend using this add-on. But basically, we did some testing with the jewel gathering, and it was only making about 7,000 to 8,000 gold per hour, which this is way too low for what we want. So let's go ahead, we'll throw the materials that we gathered in the Warband bank, and let's honestly move on to the next farm. Maybe there is a better spot to gather at, but for now, let's move on. So we're going to try out the solo farm in the Brackenhide Hollow dungeon. You are going to need tailoring, and you want to put 50 points in cloth collection, and this is actually from Dragonflight. And now these materials still sell tens of thousands per day, and they sell very quickly. We're mainly just going to be after the cloth from doing this. So you can do 10 runs per hour on each realm. So if you want to constantly do this, you are going to need to have two characters set up on two different realms. This way you can alternate in between the two realms, and this way you'll never actually hit the lockout. The runs take about 2 to 3 minutes, so this is perfect. You can do 10 runs in about 25 to 30 minutes on each realm. And this way, by the time you get back to the first realm, you can continuously do this. Now, this is a great farm to do, and we did a bit of testing, and we'll actually show you how much gold you make per hour. But as you can see, you just pretty much killing all of the mobs. You're pulling the full dungeon at once, killing all of the mobs, looting them up, and you get a bunch of cloth and also the bolts because you have Dragonflight tailoring. Now, I did some testing, and this was making around 22,000 gold to 23,000 gold per hour when doing this. So this is a good option, as you can see right here. However, they don't sell as quick as the War Within materials. It is higher gold per hour, but they do not sell as quick. But as you can see, they do sell like 50,000 per day, some of them. So they do sell a high quantity. So this could be a good option to do every now and then, because 23,000 gold so far is the highest gold per hour out of the farms that we have tested. Let's move over to a completely raw gold farm. This means everything that we're going to be farming, we're going to be vendoring. So this is 100% raw gold only. And we're going to do this at the Motherlode. So this is a dungeon, and this has great raw gold from doing it. So what you want to do is super simple. You just want to put the dungeon difficulty on normal, and you want to run the dungeon. You can follow along and you can see basically the pulls that I do. You don't want to pull like the whole dungeon at once, because I have a bunch of stuns and knockbacks, which gets very, very annoying. So I've made my own little route where I gather up. I think I do it in about 4 pulls, the whole dungeon. And this just makes it a lot easier, because you're not going to be getting knocked back, stunned, and God knows what else. Every single time you have like 100 mobs on you. Doing it this way, you end up with like 50 mobs on you, and you can control it a lot better. But you want to make sure that you're killing absolutely every single mob in this dungeon. Make sure you're looting all of them. Also, you want to kill every single boss. Once you get to the end, you can go ahead, kill all of the mobs. As you can see, we did a run in about 6 minutes, and you get about 1,000 raw gold every single run. So it's a decent amount of gold per hour. When you really dial down and you do this efficiently, you can get around 10,000 raw gold per hour from this farm. So here are the farms that we have tested. So at top we have the Brackenhide Hollow Solo Dungeon Farm. So this is at 23,000 gold per hour. Second, we have the Darkflame Cleft, and this is at 15,000 gold. This has the fastest selling items. Next up we have the Motherlode. So this is 100% raw gold, and this is 10,000 gold per hour. So we don't have to even sell anything. This is a pretty good option to start off with. And then we have Jewel Gathering, which is only at 8,000 gold, which this is just way too low. So we won't be doing Jewel Gathering at that location anyways. So another thing, we actually were missing a trinket. Somehow we vended it. So we spent 380 gold and brought a new trinket. Let's go ahead and grab out the materials that we got when we were testing the farms. Let's get those all posted up on the auction house so they can start selling for us and making us more gold. We're just going to be using TSM, which is an add-on. We're going to be using that to post all the items. So we have about 10,000 gold posted up on the auction house, which is really good. And that was just from testing. Also, shout out to this guy, someone that I ran into in the main city, said hello. So if you're watching this video, shout out to you. But anyways, we just did around 40 minutes of the Darkflame Cleft Follower Dungeon Farm. We ended up with around 12,000 gold and also 1,823 raw gold that is in our bags. So a decent amount of gold for the time that we spent. We're going to turn some of these Dark Moon cards into the Dark Moon decks. Now, once you have all of the cards, you can just click on them, and this will actually turn it into the trinket. Now, the trinket sells very good up on the auction house, and sometimes you can actually sell the trinket for more than that you would actually sell the cards. So I like to make a few trinkets. We can get those posted up on the auction house, and then everything else we're just going to post directly on the auction house. So all of the different cloth that we got and all of the cards, this is all going to go up on the auction house. Now this should sell very, very quickly. Because it is current content, these items tend to move within a few minutes. So as you can see, we're posting them up on the auction house, and we already have items that are selling. Perfect. There we go. We've got like 2,735 gold in sales already waiting for us. And also we've got another 8,500 gold in our mailbox. Let's actually go ahead and collect that. That brings up our total liquid gold to 15,000 gold, which is super nice. As you can see right here, it's all in our Warband bank, and that is mainly where we're going to be holding all of our gold. There's an extra 1,000 gold, which bumps us up to 16,000 gold. Now we have enough gold to actually start doing cross realm flipping. Now flipping is where you buy an item for cheap on one realm, use the Warband bank to move it to another realm that has a much higher price. and then obviously you keep the difference in between, and that is the profit. And that is how you make gold with cross realm flipping. We're going to be using a tool called flipping power. So what we can do with this is we can put in our buying realms and also our selling realms. We're going to start off with selling on only 4 realms to start off with. So let's go ahead and add our 4 realms that we're going to be selling on. Make sure we have the correct region, and now we're going to be using the cross realm flipping tool. It will show you the best deal for every single item that meets the filters and criteria that you put into this. If you want to follow along with the filters that I'm using, here they are right now. For categories, I'm using everything, quality, everything, expansions, all of them except the war within, then my 4 selling realms, and then all of the realms on the US for the buying realm. We're going to manually put in which realm we want to see the deals for. So for an example, Moonguard is the next realm to log into. So we can put that in for the buying realm, and now all of these deals would just be on Moonguard. We can also increase the sell rate. We want to make sure the sell rate is decent, not too low. And then we also want to exclude crafted items. Now that we've got that set up, we can go ahead, and this is going to show us all of the deals on Moonguard. We also can change this down to the max amount of price down to under 500 gold, just because we don't have too much gold to start off with. But as you can see, this has all of the best deals for all of the deals on Moonguard. We can sort the column for sell average versus buy from highest to lowest, and this will show us the best deals from the top to the bottom. Now on the far right side, there is a box that we can tick. Now if we select the item, this means it's going to be in the auctionator shopping list. This is basically an add-on where you can import shopping lists of specific items in game, so it helps you buy them a lot easier. So we can go through, we can select all of the best items that we want to buy. Now we want to focus on items that have a high sell rate, which we have that in the filter, anything over 0.05, and we can go through and we can pick the exact items that we want. The majority of these are amazing deals. What I like to look at is the sell average versus the buy, and I like to have that percent be over 100%. You can go a bit below it like we did just there, but the majority of the best deals, I like to have it over 100% because this gives you a lot of room for profit. Okay, so now we have these items, we can go up and we can click on Get Auctionator Shopping List, and this is going to copy the Auctionator Shopping List import string. So what we want to do is we want to open up the auction house. Let's first of all grab some gold out of the Warband Bank, so we have some gold to buy these items. We want to open up the auction house. We want to open up the tab which is called shopping. So right here, and now this is with the add-on auctionator. Click on import, paste in the string, and then click on import. Now this will bring up all of the items from flipping power that we have selected for this realm. We can go ahead, go through and buy all of these amazing deals. This is going to make it a lot quicker for us to buy deals. As you can see, we're already going to have like maybe 20, 30, 40 different items that we can sell on different realms. So we want to go ahead, buy these up. And then what we want to actually do once we have finished buying these is we want to put all of them in the Warband Bank. Because what we're going to do is we're going to store them in the Warband Bank on all of the characters that we're buying on. And then we have it all in the Warband Bank, log into the characters that we're selling on, and remove all the items out of the Warband Bank. So you can use /tsm bank UI and it'll bring up this window. If you have my groups, you can basically just select them all and you can move everything to the Warband Bank and you're good to go. Now, another thing that we can do with flipping power is obviously we can go through all of the different realms. For an example, the next realm we want to do is Frostmourne. We can see if there's any good deals on here, and we can see there's actually a pet with a very, very high sell rate that we can pick up for 500 gold, and the sale average for this is 2000 gold. So we can go ahead and actually like buy items one by one manually. Let's go ahead and grab some gold out of the Warband Bank, and then we can go ahead and buy this pet. Now this pet has a extremely high sell rate, and this item will sell very, very quickly. So we picked that up for 500 gold, and we should be able to sell that for 2, 3, 4,000 gold very, very quickly. Now let's go ahead and let's see what is on the next realm. Or another thing that we could do is we could play around with these filters. We can bump up the sell rate. So basically the sell rate, this will give you a number of how often an item sells. The higher this number is, the more often the item sells. So by focusing on higher sell rate items, this means you're not going to be sitting on them for weeks. You're going to be selling them very, very quickly. So when you're just getting started, I highly recommend focusing on items with a higher sell rate. So we can go ahead, we can play around with this filter right here. And as you can see, we have a bunch of items that have an extremely high sell rate. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to buy all of these items one by one, because these have extremely high sell rates, and these are items that I know I can pick up for very cheap and I can resell them and probably sell them within a day or two. So very high sell rate is very good, especially when you're just getting started, because you don't have too much capital to have, thousands and thousands of items up on different auction houses, because you just don't have the gold to start off with. So what you want to do is you want to focus on items that have a high sell rate, and this means you'll have a very quick turnover. So you only need to actually have, 10, 20, 30,000 gold to start off with, and you can actually start seeing very consistent sales every single day if you focus on the right items. So as you can see, we got a recipe that we just picked up for 50 gold. That was an absolute score. Once again, we're going to pick it up, throw it in the Warband bank, store everything in the Warband bank. Now there is a bunch of items on this page that we can go through, and we can actually buy all of these. That's what I actually did. I brought a bunch of them. Another thing I like to flip is the actual bags. These are actually sold on individual auction houses, so not on the region-wide auction house. And these have a very high sell rate. Same with the War Within Dark Moon deck trinkets. So these have a great sell rate, and they're sold on specific realms, not on the region-wide auction house. So what we can do with those is flip them cross realm. My thought process when buying these is that we're only selling on 4 realms, so I'm trying to buy 4 of each of the trinkets, and with the bags I'm going to be selling around 10 on each realm, so ideally we would want around 40. I think we got a bit less. Now we're going to log into the selling characters. We have 4 selling characters on 4 different realms. So what we want to do is we want to remove 1 of each item from the Warband bank. We can do that with the Warband TSM feature, so /TSM bank UI, and then select all the groups and then remove post cap to bags. Now we're going to be posting with TSM, so make sure you select all the groups. We paid 450 for this, selling for 3,000. The next item we paid 25 gold for, reposting for 2,000. 45 gold, reposting for 2,500. 120 gold, posting for 2,000. 75 gold on average, posting for 1,800. And you get the picture. There's a lot of profit to be made in these flips. We're picking them up for very cheap, all of them actually under 500 gold. And as you can see, the prices are a lot higher than 500 gold. And the best thing about these items that we're focusing on is that they have a high sell rate, meaning they're items that actually sell quickly. So they sell hopefully the next day when we wake up, but within a few days more than likely. The higher the sell rate, the quicker the item is expected to sell. Now all of that data is based off TSM data, which is an add-on. Now it only tracks the data from other people using the add-on, so a lot of the times it is a lot lower than what really sells on the auction house. But what we want to do is we want to log into our second character that we're selling on, and we want to remove the items from the Warband bank again. So I'll actually run you through the full process so it makes sense to you. What you do is you log on to the first realm and you remove the items into your bags. So it's the post cap. So it's going to be 1 of each item from the Warband bank. You post them on the realm, and then how my TSM operations work is it will only post 1 of each item, and it will only post if the item is profitable on that realm. If it can't be posted profitable price compared to what you paid for the item, it won't actually allow you to post it. So anything that is left in your bags after posting, you put it into the Warband bank, and then you move on to the next round. And hopefully on the next round, the price is profitable. So then you remove 1 of each item, and then you post it on that round. So that's how that works. However, you will see a lot of cross round flipping, and I can explain it in more detail in future episodes. Now we've got everything posted. On our first character we're farming on, we had some gold being in the mailbox. Now this is some of the data for episode 1 and day number 1. Here are some of the gold farms that we tested. So the Brackenhide Hollow and the Darkflame cleft were the two that we ended up doing the most of, and that were actually making the most amount of gold. So these are two decent farms of what we have tested so far for quick turnover, fast selling items. Here's what we got done in the first day. So we started off and basically set everything up. We set up our add-ons, we set up TSM, we tested some farms that had quick selling items. We ended up picking the Darkflame cleft. We did 40 minutes of the Darkflame cleft for 11,000 gold, and then we did some flipping. We ended up putting 378,000 gold worth of items up on the auction house. So here are the different realms that we're actually selling on. In the top column right here, we have the total. We have under it each column for each different realm that we're actually selling on. So in total, we have 378,000 gold posted on the auction houses and 118 items in total posted across all the realms that we're selling on. And now we have a more in-depth sheet, and now every single day I will update this. And so for day number 1, total gold that we have is 8,297 gold in liquid gold. We have 378,000 on the auction house, 118 items on the auction houses, and then we've had a total of 24,914 gold in sales across all of the different auction houses. Here's our TSM ledger, and the chart is definitely going up, and that is what we want to see. However guys, this was the first of many episodes for this challenge. I plan on bringing out an episode every single day to start off with. So if you want to keep up to date, be sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll also put a link to the playlist for this challenge down below in the description box if you want to watch it from episode 1 to the current episode. If you did enjoy, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. It really helps out and allows more people to check out this video. Until the next episode guys, take care.